Hey, welcome back to the Rod Pedersen Show here on this Tuesday. Darren DuPont with you alongside Kelly Rempel, who's joining me in the bunker today. The Prairie Mobile text line is open today at 306-840-8777. Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer. So we'll take your comments on NHL trade deadline winners and losers. Most of you right now, the Edmonton Oilers, 44.7% on the daily poll question for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center. So continuing to take your comments and questions here on the Prairie Mobile text line and also online or on the Facebook feed as well. But it was a wonderful weekend, and everybody's still talking about the 42-year-old Zamboni driver, Kelly, and you and I were talking about it before we went there, and I said, stop, this is too good. We got to save this for the show because, there's a couple of angles I want to take with this. First of all, you have to understand, I'm a Leafs fan. I have been my whole life, and I couldn't have been happier.
What?
Because I'm a sports fan.
Yeah.
And on the one hand, you're disappointed because just 2 big points in a playoff race that's so tight with so much parity, and you need every point. And if you end up 1 or 2 points out of a playoff spot, you're going to look back to this game and be like, that was it. That was your chance. Playing against a rec hockey goaltender, street hockey. Tavares scored in his first shot, and it didn't even, he just shot the puck, whatever, along the ice and beat him. And didn't even celebrate because he's like, should never score from there, right? On the other hand, I'm a hockey fan, and I'm a sports fan. And when this guy goes in, and you look at the way Rod Brind'Amour, the head coach of Carolina, was just like, this is a joke. Yeah. He wasn't even supporting his guy going in. And then all his teammates are going over, pat him on the back. Don't worry, we got you. You're all right.
Well, what shocked me was the players on Carolina actually got a kick out of it.
They got a kick out of it.
They were all kind of laughing and joking about it, which surprised me.
Me. They need the points too.
Yeah.
And so you sit there and you're like, so now you feel bad for the goaltender. And now you hope he plays well. And then they score on the first shot. And as a Leafs fan, I'm excited. But then I'm like, I really don't want them to light this guy up for 10 goals. I really don't. I'm pulling for him now. So now I'm all in, right? He lets in the second shot on goal. And he didn't have a chance in the second shot. It goes off a defenseman, wide open net. He's out of position. That happens to every goaltender. And then they start playing, right? Carolina, they came out, they scored a goal as soon as he came in, then he lets in the 2. They played their bags off for him, right?
They did.
How can you not love this guy?
Yep.
But you're watching this thing, and what's going through your mind as you're watching this guy come into the game?
Well, I watched it on PVR, so I didn't watch it live. Not that matters.
No.
But so he comes in the game when the second goaltender gets his bell.
Mrazek.
Yeah, sorry. Gets his bell rung, his helmet comes flying off. And the first thing I thought
First of all, timeout. You've already lost James Reimer, who's not playing. You've got a 42-year-old Zamboni driver waiting in the wings. If you're Peter Mrazek, what the hell are you doing?
He's not thinking about that.
What the hell are you doing out by the hash marks, though?
He's not thinking about that, Darren. He's just playing.
As he probably should.
Those guys aren't wired to think about that kind of stuff. He's just spontaneous's reacting to a play. But
as he probably should.
Yeah. In hindsight, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But so his helmet goes flying off and he's sprawled out onto the ice. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. What if this guy can't come back? What if they take him and they do a concussion protocol or whatever they're going to do and he doesn't pass the test? What are they going to do? Dress a defenseman? What do you do? Mm-hmm. Well, then they talked about this E-Bug, the emergency backup goalie. And when David Ayres came walking through that tunnel and came out onto the ice, I can't lie, Darren, I burst out laughing. I said to myself, you have to be kidding me when they said that this guy is the Toronto Marlies Zamboni driver. He practices with the Leafs. He's an employee of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
MLSE.
He works for them. But now he's the goalie of the Carolina Hurricanes. And the one thing I picked up right away, though, that this guy's not going to mail it in. He may not make any saves, and he may be the red rotten you-know-what.
Yeah.
But he's not... This guy's intense. Like, he wants to do well.
Oh, yeah.
Because you could see when that first one beat him, he was not happy with himself. And there was a bit of a screen there, but I think he was like not. He felt he should have.
You know that reaction he had, where he's kind of like looking around for like a reason, and and the goalie kind of blaming the other people. It's kind of because he knows he's better than that,
yes,
and slightly embarrassed.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Look it, this can't."
I'm better than that.
And he died, and the second one went.
He had no chance.
And then he sits down, and one of the defensemen came over and said to him, "We don't care if you let in 10. Just have fun, and relax." And that zoned him in, and then lights out.
But I thought the same thing everybody did. They're gonna like light this guy up for 6, right? And but then I noticed something when they came back and they made it. So they pulled to within 1. It was 4-3, right?
Yep.
And then they scored a 5th goal, and I remember thinking to myself, I don't think it's going to happen, but if Carolina gets the next one and makes it 6-3, they have a chance to win with this guy in net.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't really care. I'm not a Leafs fan per se. I'm sure as hell not a Carolina fan. They're one of those teams that are way off my radar. I don't give them a second thought.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. But this is awesome.
Isn't it?
Like, this is just incredible. And then they made it 6. And I jump off my couch, and I'm laughing my head off, and I scream down in my little man cave downstairs, and I yell at the top of my lungs, "They're gonna win! They're gonna win!"
Yeah.
And my wife is like, "What?" She think I'm yelling so loud that she think I'm talking to her or something, right?
Yep.
Said, "Oh, nothing, just talking to myself." I was fascinated with the whole thing. But here's the thing, Darren, that falls under the radar, and you can understand why it would, right? Mm-hmm. You could completely understand why nobody seems to be talking about this, because it's a lot more interesting to talk about how the Toronto Maple Leafs are so bad that they and they have such a tiny amount of heart, and there are all of these negative things that they lost to a 42-year-old Zamboni driver. Like, this is rock bottom. Like, that's the story, right? Mm-hmm. Okay? But what is a little bit unfair and unfortunate is that the Carolina Hurricanes probably played about as good for 25 or so minutes as I've ever seen a team play defensively. I've never seen anything quite like that. Or if I have, it's been a long time. I mean, these guys were given a third period tied game, 7th game of the Stanley Cup effort in a game in the middle of February. I mean, so as much as I kind of agree, it is, let's face it, it's pathetic that the Leafs couldn't win that hockey game. But really, when you stop and think about it, they couldn't get a shot off.
No.
Now, part of that is because they didn't have the heart to do it, and that was a little bit sad. But every single time they got the puck, the Carolina defenseman or the Carolina forward were backtracking like dogs on steak. Like, they literally couldn't get into a scoring lane. I mean, how many times did they shoot the puck, but it never made it there? It bounced off a shin pad, or they were diving and blocking shots. And sometimes those adverse situations bring out the best in people.
Yep.
They know that every time they shoot the puck, it might go in. So guess what? We can't let them shoot the puck. How many shots did they have in that when David Ayres went in? Like I think he stopped, what was it, 8 of 10?
Yeah.
Okay, so think about that. You have to shoot the puck every chance you get. If you shoot it from the red line, shoot it. Well, you got nothing to lose with this guy in goal.
Right.
Right? And they could only, in almost half a period, or half a hockey game, Darren, they could only get 10 pucks to the net. So really, you could have put one of those boards, like you go to the outdoor
Mr. Civ with the plastic goalie.
It's got the cardboard, and the clamp hooks over the net, and you got the board and you got the holes in the corners, and then there's a little 5-hole.
We used to use that for street hockey.
They would have won with one of those in, because he didn't have to make actual saves. He just had to kind of turn his body and sort of come square to the puck and just not cough up big rebounds, which to his credit, he didn't do. Right? So you got to give him credit for that.
Oh, he played the puck well. He did a lot of things well.
The one that burst made me absolutely, it just ruined me. I was laying in the fetal position, killing myself laughing, was when Craig Simpson said something to the effect of, David Ayres has more shots on goal in this period than the Toronto Maple Leafs, because it was like a minute and a half into the third period, and he actually shot it off the boards and it went all the way down the ice, and the goalie of Toronto had to make a save.
Unbelievable.
When he said that, I was laughing so hard I couldn't stand. There I am by myself, I might add, watching a game on PVR with tears rolling down my face, because I'm thinking the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to lose this game.
Yeah. To an emergency backup goaltender.
Did you read his wife's tweets?
Oh, man. She was so entertaining. We were talking about this yesterday on the show. She was really entertaining. And so it's been so much fun to watch the story unfold. And I love, if you look at, he lets in those first 2 shots, and then his first save was really probably, if you need one play to sum up that whole night, that was it. Because his first shot that he stopped was on Austin Matthews, and he didn't control that puck very well. He didn't know where it was. I mean, he's never had a puck come off his pad so hard in his life. But then all of a sudden, it's like 3 soldiers jumping on the grenade. You have 3 Hurricanes just diving in to the front of the goal crease, trying to knock that puck out because the goaltender doesn't know where it is. And they did that all night, protecting the net, blocking shots. And I said yesterday,
played so well.
You're trained to get out of the way, let the goaltender see it. Not that night. We're getting in the way. We've got to block as many shots as we can. So that was interesting.
Have you ever seen anything like that?
Well, Scott Foster was pretty good.
Which one?
The Scott Foster was the accountant who went in Florida and played really well, won the game there, didn't let in a single goal. That's only a couple of years ago or a few years ago now.
The accountant. You got accountants.
Zamboni
Apparently
drivers.
last night, where was it, Florida, that a pizza delivery guy was the third.
Well, see, and now everybody is going to want to know, and they're almost going to be on the media kit, who the emergency backup goaltender is. So that's interesting. Clark, you let me know when we got Richie, okay? Richie Sutter is going to join us here on the program here shortly. He's our NHL insider from Calgary.
I love it.
But Arash Madani had a great tweet, and he's going to join us this week on the program. He tweeted about football and about this goaltending situation, and he said, if Patrick Mahomes or Matt Moore, got hurt, it's not going to be the caretaker, the groundskeeper who comes in to throw the footballs. Like, it's crazy, right? But where are you at with the whole status of the game and what this means for the game? Is it embarrassing for the game of hockey that you have to have a guy like this come in? Because I look at it, in football, correct me if I'm wrong, but you'd have a receiver come and play quarterback, or a running back would play quarterback, right?
Yeah.
And would hand the ball off, would make some throws. Somebody who played quarterback in college, likely, right? If it's the Riders, it'd be somebody like Nick Marshall.
I'm willing to bet that on most CFL or NFL teams, there's probably a handful of guys that have played quarterback at the high school level, or it wouldn't be completely foreign to them to get in there. And they do have guys that practice running like vanilla plays.
And the wildcat formation's bigger and things like that. Yeah. But you don't have that in hockey, right? You specialize at a fairly young age. If you're a goaltender, you're a goaltender. So, and also, you're not going to sit there and take, 25 minutes to say, okay, Morgan Riley, you're going in to change. And now you got to put on the pads and come out, and you've never played goal before.
Do you hear what Kelly Rudy said?
No.
He said that in LA, they used to have Charlie Huddy once in a while put on the pads and go in. And Kelly said that you might find this hard to believe, but he was actually pretty good. Like nobody had any, they weren't so delusional to think that, well, we need to win this game, put Charlie in goal. But he could make saves, and he's actually pretty good. He could handle the puck well. He could kick pucks into the corner. Like, he was good enough that it wouldn't be full on, like, oh my God, what do we do now mode, like they were on Saturday night. But here's something to your point that I was thinking about. You know what this has kind of shown me? It's shown me that for years I've thought that pitching in baseball, quarterbacking in football, and goaltending in hockey are all kind of sort of the same.
Yep.
This guy's in control of the game sort of thing, right? I don't think that now.
Right.
Because you could never in a million years put the Domino's pizza guy out and tell him to go pitch for the Yankees in an emergency situation. Like, I mean, there would be zero chance. You could spot him a 20-run lead. And
he's not getting off the field.
There's no way.
Right.
Okay? If you went in football and said, okay, we're going to have the guy that works at, IKEA, he's going to go in, because he played some quarterback 15 years ago. Go put him in. It's not even worth talking about.
Right.
But in hockey, I've learned now that you could put a 42-year-old Zamboni driver that played some hockey back in the day, and as long as he doesn't just blatantly screw everything up, the game is controlled in front of him.
Yeah.
The pitcher is the first line of defense.
Linchpin.
He's throwing.
And it's a lot different in hockey.
The quarterback takes every snap.
It's a lot different in hockey if you or I got to go out and play defense or play forward.
Yeah, that's different.
We might get killed.
Yeah.
Literally get killed.
Right.
Right?
So as important as goaltending, and I'm not trying to minimize how important it is, because like the old saying, it's 75% of the game until you don't have it, and then it's 100%. But I'm changing my thinking on that, because they're the last line of defense. So theoretically, if you had not theoretically.
They play with an empty net,
We've
right?
seen it now. A 42-year-old Zamboni driver who's played a little goalie back in the day, if he can just be that bored and just kind of turn your body and move your body and be square to the puck and just don't kick out a bunch of rebounds, he doesn't have to make a lot of reflex saves if the 5 guys playing in front of him are so damn good that they can just make it so that they can't shoot.
Yeah.
It's not the complete end of the world.
Well, they play with an empty net in the final minute quite often. In football, you play with the Wildcats sometimes. In baseball, you can't play without a pitcher. Clark, can you put Alan's comment back up? Alan's comment was pretty good. Actually, this is kind of creative. You're not going to do this in the NHL, but hockey promotional game here. Emergency goaltender bobblehead night. If it's a sellout, then he gets to play. That sounds like the you call it league. Remember when you had the guys on the couch were calling the plays?
Yeah, marketing genius.
Yes. There's our intern, Alan Lee.
I love it.
Norway calling. We've got a comment from Trent in Norway. He said, Oilers won the trade day. Hail the Zamboni driver. And may the Rush sell out on the weekend. Go Rod Pedersen show. You're going to the Rush game.
Yep.
So there you go. I'm going to make sure. Do you got your tickets? Did you get them yet?
They were sent to me electronically
good.
or something like that.
We got you your tickets, so you're going to the game. Rush are on the floor this weekend, so we're looking forward to that. Do you want me to break first? All right, we're going to break first, and then we're going to go to Calgary and join Rich Sutter. I think that's where he is anyway. We're going to talk about the NHL trade deadline day and a little bit more. And further to your comment, actually, before we go, this will be really quick.
I love it.
The question you asked on Twitter regarding the goaltender, you said, for Leaf fans, and honestly, is this rock bottom?
Yeah.
The 5 to 10 year period, is this rock bottom? And I say no. Not even close.
Really?
We're in a playoff spot. It's not rock bottom. Now,
no, not the season, but the humiliation of that game.
Yes. So I will say this. Most humiliating moment? Probably.
Yeah, that's kind of what
the Vesa Toskala goal, that's pretty humiliating too. The one that bounced from the other goal line and bounced over his pad and in. Most humiliating probably, is it rock bottom? No, it's just a one-off. But it is very humiliating. All right, we got to break. Rich Sutter on the other side. We're having fun this morning. Fill up your coffee.
I love it.
We're having Caliber coffee this morning, and you can join us in the Prairie Mobile text line, 306-840-8777. That and more on the other side. The Rod Pedersen Show here on Facebook Live, and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.